People of the internet! What's happening with Wendy Williams? You want to speak on that? Let's speak on Wendy Williams for a little bit, man. Wendy Williams passes mental capacity test after being transported by ambulance to New York City Hospital. I've been seeing Wendy Williams in the news as of late. It looks like her health is indeed deteriorating. I am concerned. I know, of course, she's a staple here in the culture. I do know that, she's had some time on air doing similar situations like this as well, too, of course. News and entertainment and whatever the case is, or just reactions, I guess you could say, whatever her main thing was. I do know she was in this radio space, whatever the case is, or creator space, whatever the case is. And as of late, we've been seeing photos of her deteriorating health. I want to get a little bit of insight from this. Let's get a little bit of insight on Wendy Williams, man. I'm a little bit concerned. I've been hearing about conservatorships, and I've been hearing about her, being held against her will, or whatever the case is. Almost the similar things we used to hear with like Britney Spears. I do think Wendy Williams is somewhat in a similar situation. Let's get some insight. This post here comes from New York Post. Says here, Wendy Williams, if I could get these ads out of the way, Wendy Williams passes mental capacity test after being transported by ambulance to New York City Hospital.
Wendy, how are you?
Wendy, what's going on?
I know you said that you needed help. Is it coming funny? Are you looking forward to the view? So will you still be making your appearances for this week?
Side door, side door.
Oh my God, I gotta get up in that. Oh my God, it's wait, you put that and put that way over there. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, I got it. Okay, sorry.
Yo, you going in?
I was right here. They have to take
Interesting. Of course, that came from the New York Post. A psychiatrist at the New York Hospital where Wendy Williams was taken Monday has reportedly determined that her mental capacity is intact. Wendy Williams, of course, who is 60 years old, arrived by ambulance at Lenox Hill Hospital on Monday morning after cops were called to her assisted living facility for a wellness check when the former daytime talk show host tossed a handwritten note out of a window pleading for help. I did hear about that. Once at Lenox Hill, the former shock jock was given a psychological examination called a capacity test and scored a 10 out of 10, answering each of 10 questions used to determine whether she was alert and oriented. Interesting. So I'm glad to hear that. Of course, I guess that's good news. Of course, you see photos here of Wendy Williams. I'm familiar. Of course, she's been, as I mentioned, of course, a talk show host. I think she had some time on radio as well, too, if I'm not mistaken. Wendy Williams is somebody who I am familiar is, a public figure within this cultural space. So I am concerned. I've been seeing other news prior to this as well, too, of her, being held against her will or family members maybe taking advantage of whatever the case is. But I'm glad she has the resources and I guess the people around her, I guess maybe, that were able to. It looks like she's, I don't know if anybody was there with her, but a psychiatrist has signed off and said that she's 10 out of 10 coherent. One of the things as I was watching that clip as well, too, is a little bit frustrating, and I get it, it's people's jobs, but we got to revisit that. Why are you asking me questions? It's like the reporters and the paparazzi, do I look like I want to answer your questions? I'm on my way. I'm walking to an ambulance. I look physically distraught, and you're asking me if I'm going to make my appearance on The View? And Wendy, will we still be seeing you? Why are you asking me questions, bro? Let me handle this real quick. I don't know, man. I feel a way about, paparazzi and, commentators and again, I guess I'm loosely in that space as well too, but let's remember that these people are also humans, man. How would you feel if people you're trying to get to safety, you're trying to, I spoke on that, what was it, with the California fires when people had to drop their cars and leave, whatever the cases. I did a video on that as well too, and you had news reporters asking people questions in catastrophe. And it's the people that are actually stopping to answer the questions that I got to look at a little bit funny. You're stopping to answer questions from a news reporter when your house is on fire and you've been just told to flee your car and leave it behind. I don't know. So watching that clip made me a little bit frustrated. Like, why are you asking her questions en route to the ambulance, man? Do I look like I got time to answer your questions? It's a little bit frustrating, man. Just where's human decency when it comes to these things, man? Take your photos, get your footage, and keep it pushing. Don't ask her nothing. It's my personal opinion. Nonetheless, again, Wendy Williams, I hope she is well. I hope she pulls through. As mentioned, of course, it does seem that the psychiatrist has told her that she's good and dandy to move forward, so that's a good thing to hear as well. But again, man, it makes me think a lot of this sometimes as well, too. Just the spotlight, man, and mental health and fame and riches and whatever the case is, man. Health is wealth, as they say, folks, man. All of it goes down the drain, or what good is any of that stuff if, you know, you don't have the proper support around you, or you're not in the proper, you know, mental capacity to enjoy those things. Just my thoughts. But shout out to Wendy Williams. I hope she pulls through. And yeah.